I decided to do like a little story time on why I started my business. I have had people ask, and I just kind of feel like now that I've sold, quite a bit, but also more or less like I feel like I've been trying to get my name out there. I figured I would like to share my story because I feel like everybody has their story, and my business is part of my story. It's the reason I started in the first place. So, and this is just kind of the brief on why I did and everything. So, a couple of years ago, it probably was about 4 years ago, I I more like found out about the silicone beads. I ended up really loving them because they had so many different styles and everything like that. It came to a point that I just started collecting them just because I really, really liked them. I'd kind of make little wristlets. I started off at making like some baby products, but I don't anymore, just because there's a huge liability issue and everything. So sadly, I don't do those anymore. But yeah, so I kind of started making those. I sold a little bit here and there, but it really helped me. So I was diagnosed around that time. I wasn't diagnosed with PTSD then, but I had a lot of really bad postpartum depression. We were a family just trying to get by and everything. So like that's kind of why I started to begin with. Like I discovered the whole silicone bead things, did a lot of research, did that. And then actually fast forward to like maybe a year ago after we moved. So I was diagnosed with PTSD. I dealt with depression. I dealt with anxiety. I still deal with it day to day. I'm trying to think of what else. So like part of the reason why we moved, and I know that some people may know it and some people may not, my family's a little bit much to deal with. It's hard. It's something we're working through. I feel like it will get better within time, but honestly, like, as soon as we found out about the health insurance here in North Carolina, we ended up wanting to move, and we needed a change, and the biggest reason is when I started going to therapy before we moved, my therapist basically told me that I needed to get out. That's literally her exact words. She's like, you need to get out. You need to, and I had brought up North Carolina because my husband had been here, and she's like, wait, like, what was that? Like, she was confused because I was actually really excited about talking just about it and everything like that, because my husband literally had sent me pictures and everything, and the weather, and it wasn't even just the weather, it was just everything together. So when I started talking about it with her more and more, and that's actually where my husband and I decided to actually move. I was diagnosed with PTSD and all that, and then we weren't sure if it was going to work out, but we just, tried. We didn't really tell anybody before we moved, just because we didn't know if it was going to work out. But also, we didn't want to really have anybody change our minds, just because in reality, we were trying to do it, like, I was trying to, like, just be okay. So that's honestly, and there's a lot more to it, and I talk about it a little bit more. Like, I dealt with a lot of the big S word, I dealt with that. So I dealt with a lot of different things, and it's been really, really hard and everything like that. But long story short, kind of after that's kind of how I kind of got started, but I didn't really sell enough to even call it a small business. So it would have been almost a year ago, but I didn't really start until like December. I found out that sometimes dealing with some of my anxiety and everything, it's literally, I don't know what it is, but making the wristlets, putting the beads on the string. Like, I know it sounds crazy and weird and everything like that, but that's what I enjoy. My hands do get sore just because when I tighten them up and I tug at them quite a bit, they do get sore from that and everything. But the other items that I make, I feel like I do end up getting exhausted from making some of the things, or sometimes it becomes a lot and I take a couple days of a break or something like that. And it's honestly the same for the cozy blankets too. Part of hand knitting every stitch or something, it helps me a lot. And that's actually why Christina had reached out to me, and I've talked about it a little bit on there, because when I started sharing my story with her, she loved it, and that's why I thought that maybe I'd share a little bit of it right now, because that's kind of why I started. I literally started because I was so depressed. I was so like full of anxiety. The PTSD has been getting to me, and now with this small business, I've actually been okay. So that's why I'm literally trying to, get somewhere with it, because it means a lot to me, but it also has been helping me so much. And you know that, like, with a lot of, like whether or not you have to be on stuff to help you, I feel like it's okay either way. But for me, this has been helping me so much that I don't, like, I'm really excited about it. Like, it's the one thing that has helped me. I'm literally away from everybody, starting over. It's just me and my little family, my husband and my kids. And it's been awesome. It's definitely been hard because my kids have had an adjustment and everything. But it's just been awesome. And that's part of kind of the story behind on why I even started. But part of the reason why I do so many colors too is because I think that everybody's beautiful in their own way. Like, I was told as a kid constantly, like, who I could and couldn't be friends with. And it bothered me because there's so many people on here that I've connected with, and they're the most sweetest people ever. And I don't really understand what my parents' concept was. I really don't, and it quite frankly irritates me, because there's so many people that I've met on here, and even some of the people I've met through my small business. It's just been awesome. And I don't know, so that's why, for my business, I try to do kind of like one of a kind, just because I do feel like everybody is one of a kind in their own way. I really do. So it's just, that's why I'm kind of really trying and hoping to get my stuff out there. I do go live quite a bit, and I don't mind if people ask me questions or ask to see items or anything like that. But like, there's kind of like a little backstory on why I started, but and like, even like with my PTSD, I've noticed that sometimes I'll talk about something and then I'll change the subject. That's literally just something I've struggled with. So it's really hard coping with some of that stuff sometimes. But I just felt like it was one thing that I started my business because of what I've gone through, the trauma that I've been through. And I mean, there's a lot more to the story that contributed to where I'm at right now. But quite honestly, I'd be here for hours explaining, and I don't got that kind of time, because I have 5 kids. But also, it's really hard because when I start talking about it, it makes me very emotional and everything, and I'll say little bits and pieces, but it's like, it makes it really hard to talk about, because in the end, I don't even know if I'm gonna start crying, but in the end, my family literally, I don't know what it was, but after I married my husband, I just didn't feel like I was really part of anything anymore, really. I mean, it's hard and it's sad to say it like that, but that's just how I felt. And it's not like I didn't say how I felt and everything, because I did several times, but it's just something that's really hard for me to understand. And now living here, we've kind of created our own family. And it's been definitely an adjustment still, but it's still been really hard. And I don't know, I just figured I would kind of put a little insight on why I started, in case anybody was curious. But yeah, so that's kind of a little bit about me, and I'll try to share things every once in a while, because I feel like that's why I started this page to begin with. So like, I first started this page to bring awareness to having a hysterectomy, and that's another thing, it had a lot to do with my health too. But yeah, having a hysterectomy, going through the trauma that I've gone through, but I wanted to start a business to prove to myself that I can do it. Like, it's always been a dream of mine, and that's kind of, and then honestly, like, since I have still kids at home, it's really hard for me to go get something full time, because it's like, I can't really, in, this day and age, you need something to, be occupied or have something to do and everything. But yeah, that's just a little bit about me. But definitely join me for, I might go live sometime today, but definitely join me if it's something you're interested in. Like, I have a bunch of cute gifts. It's in my profile. It's called Wrightsville Beach Apparel and Accessories. Definitely check it out. There's an About Me section. But yeah, definitely check it out, and I appreciate all the support I've gotten. Oh yeah, and one more thing. I was able to get my hands on some cow print beads. So if you're somebody that was wanting some cow print beads, definitely stay tuned, because I probably will be able to make at least 4. They might be different colors, but if there's like a requested color you want with the cow print, reach out to me, because I know if I get the beads, most of the time when I get shipments in, I will make things right away.